how we think about emotions and how our emotions change wave or frequency. So for today's project, we're going to need our watercolor paper, a ruler, a regular pen or a pencil, something we'll be able to see and go back over with later. We're going to need our watercolor palettes. These small ones is what we'll use for this project. You're going to need a paintbrush, a cup of water, and at the very end, once it dries, you'll need a Sharpie or a fine line marker that is black. So for today's project, first off, we're going to find out where the middle of our watercolor paper is. And if we measure this particular type of watercolor paper, it is about 14 inches across. In the middle of 14 inches is 7 inches. So I'm just gonna make a little mark right there, right at the 7. Okay, then we're going to take and at the 7, make our ruler nice and straight, and we're gonna draw all the way down. We're trying to divide this into 4s. Now, lengthwise, our paper is 11 inches tall. So half of 11 inches is 5.5 inches. So we're going to take and measure in at the 5.5 inch mark. Just put ourselves a little mark. And then we're gonna straighten our ruler, try to keep it as straight as possible, and draw all the way across, straight across. So at the 7-inch mark for this line and for this line that goes across, we're gonna do the 5.5 inch mark. So you have 4 fairly equal sections. Now what I want you all to do is think about what we talked about. So we're gonna start off here in this corner, and we're going to do sadness or sorrow or mourning. And when you draw these, I want you guys to think about things that make you feel these emotions or have made you feel those emotions. And we're going to draw lines that are across, but they're going to be very low wavelengths. So, just like this, low and long wavelengths, slow and sad, very long, low wavelengths, and maybe one more here from the top. So these aren't going to be close together. They're not going to be very wavy. They're going to be low and long wavelengths. And I'd like you guys to put in about 4 to 5 of those slow, long wavelengths for the area for our sad. Over here in this bottom right-hand corner, we're going to do anger. So think about how you did sad, and we're going to have a slightly higher frequency. So we're going to make these just a little bit more, just a little closer together. I want you to do the same. So a little bit more of a hill, a little bit more wave. Think about emotions that make you feel upset, frustrated, angry. So see, it's a little busier here. We've got a little bit more going on. I might make one more wave, okay? Got all these intersecting parts now. Now over here, up in your top left-hand corner, we're going to do acceptance or peace. It's not sadness, it's not anger, you're not exactly like exuberant, jumping up and down, but you feel at peace. You feel good. You feel okay. So these wavelengths are going to be a little bit more than your anger. So we're going to put those a little bit closer together. We make our wavelengths, big wavelengths. Think of things that make you feel okay, that make you feel like you are just peaceful. So we've got a little bit more going on here. Wavelengths that are a little bigger. Okay, now over here, I want you guys to think of things that make you super happy. What's something that would literally make you jump for joy, smile, grinning from ear to ear? And I want you guys to make big, close together wavelengths. Think about happiness when you're doing this. Think about all the things that really make you happy. Your wavelengths are going to be close together. Okay, just lots of them. Lots and lots and lots going on. But don't make them scribbles. We don't want to scribble. We're not sketching. We're making, just like we did in some of our other projects where we talked about flowing. We're flowing. So now we have all of these different sections, and you can see the difference. So over here, sadness, lots of open space, very low waves. Anger, you've got a little bit more. Peace is even more in happiness. Just lots going on. So next, what I want you guys to do is to take your palette, and I want you to think of what colors represents these emotions to you. So I'm going to label these. We have sad, angry, peace, just put peace. And then we'll put happy. Okay, so think carefully about the emotions that make you feel these. What colors would you use? What combination of these colors would you use to represent each of these? So for me, sadness is blues and maybe some purples, maybe even some gray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in each section individually with colors, and try not to make the colors necessarily right up against each other. We want that balance. Remember, we've talked about balance before in art. We want that balance. Okay, so I'm going to kind of paint a few of these with the blue. And this, you're not necessarily making something that you would recognize in real life. We're making sort of organic forms, right? So we can kind of flow with all of this. Like that. And then I'm going to add some of my purple. I think we'll make this one purple. But I want you guys to think about what colors you feel represents the emotions. And you can repeat colors. I did on the other one that I'll show to you here momentarily. It was just the combination of colors that made me think about the different emotions. So like I said, for me, the blue, the purple, maybe taking this black, if you guys can kind of see, we have a little bit of black, and making it a little watered down, kind of adding that in, spreading it out. I kind of think of those colors when I think of feelings like sadness or loneliness. It's almost like a black. I'm trying to thin it out a little bit here. And try your best to keep to the lines. They may flow over just a tad. You can kind of see, and that's okay. We're making this almost a little bit like a stained glass feel. But I'm going to mix these different colors around, just kind of rotating. And we'll go back and label our colors after we're done. I'm just got these labeled to remind you which corner is supposed to be what. So I kind of know which ones are which and which colors you guys feel like represent your different emotions. So I'm going to end up coloring each one of these sections in with a different color that I feel like represents sadness. Okay, so just like that. And I don't want you guys to copy me. You guys can think of your own stuff. You guys have your own opinions and feelings and emotions. And I am excited to see your ideas. So like I always say, I don't want it to look like mine. I want it to look like yours. Okay. So you're going to end up filling each one of these in individually. And when you're done with your first section, you're going to move on to the next. So angry. A lot of people may think of different colors for angry. I kind of think of red and maybe the warm colors. You may not. You may think of black and gray or something like that. If you're wanting to create that more of a gray, you'll have to take a little bit of black and you'll spread it out. So I'm going to put it here. I'm going to water it down a little bit is what I'm going to do. Now remember, it gets kind of hard to control at this point. Even that, I'm having some trouble getting it gray. I'm going to blot it a little bit there. There we go. I just got a little bit too much black on there. So now it's a little more gray than it was. If you guys need a tissue to blot with in order to lighten it a little, that's totally fine. But you guys may think of different things. Peace. When I do peace, sometimes some people said they think of blue. I kind of think of earth colors like green and blue. Other people may think of something else. Happiness. Oh man, those can be all kinds of colors. I think of yellow, maybe some pink, but it's up to you guys. So each one of these, you're gonna fill in and make sure you rotate so you don't have the colors like next to each other. So you don't want blue against blue. You want a buffer in between with a different color as much as you can. You may get to the point where you kind of run out of it, like space to rotate the different colors, but try your best to rotate them. And I'm just going to show you guys my completed project. So this is my sadness I did earlier. My anger is over here. My peace is over here. My happiness is over here. And you guys notice the different frequencies, how it increases in the amount of shapes and the wavelengths. So when this gets dry, we will end up adding our Sharpie lines, and I will show you there's a specific way that we're going to do that, and I will show you that whenever this piece is totally dry. So you guys think carefully about filling in each and every piece of this with whatever colors you think represent these emotions.